What is up, people of YouTube? I'm your host Vernon. This is Pahranagat. Let's fish that. Alright, ladies and gents, when I normally do these videos, I give myself a certain time frame. I head out there and I have to catch fish within that time frame. Afterwards I have to pack up and go home again, and that can sometimes be quite stressful, trying to find fish in that certain period of time. So for this video I want to try something different. The 25th of September is Heritage Day for South Africans, and with that in mind I thought let's try out a video where I show you guys how I grew up fishing. So rather than just going out there and catching some fish, I want to kind of focus on a South African style of fishing, show you guys some of the differences and different ways that I approach fishing. Right, so a lot of the times I actually pack up and leave a spot before the magical twilight hours, late in the afternoon when the light conditions drop and your fishing tends to pick up a bit. So the best way to counteract that is by doing some camping. That of course gives you a lot more time to spend out there trying to find the fish. If you're not rushed, you can take your time trying to find these fish. Now the first major difference is this. No, it's not the fact that I have superheroes, it's actually the little supercast feed that I have, a bucket full. Normally I would just use as needed a little bit of this stuff to put on my feeders and throw that out there to draw in some fish. But this time around I have a bigger quantity. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw it out there. I'm going to make a chumming area, hopefully drawing in fish. Another big difference that I'm going to be using is the baits. Now we make it sound easy, you throw out some corn and you catch some carp, but a lot of times it's not that simple. Sometimes they won't go for normal corn and you need to get creative with your flavors. Most South Africans actually have a wide variety of different flavored corns. I have, for instance, banana, garlic and almond, but I used to have a selection of up to 50 different flavors and all sorts of dips and stuff. Alongside that I have some boilies. These are different flavored little pre-boiled baits that you can also use to find carp. So the general idea of this being that you have different flavors. Each body of water is different. The fish prefer different flavors, and some they prefer fruity flavors like the banana, and others they prefer garlic or more natural flavors. It is thus for the angler to figure out what the fish want using all these different flavors over a long period of time. You can track down the one that works for the fish and get on quite a lot of fish using that specific flavor. Alright, and then for my baits, on the one I have two different types of baits. I have some boilies and some corn, using some different flavored corn than my usual stuff. And on the other setup we have only corn, but again different flavored corn, and this one has some syrup dripping all over it. This is some garlic flavor scent. Want to see if we can make this stand out from all the other baits out there. Now the idea is we're going to throw out these baits. They're going to stay in the water for a long period of time. Unless we get bites, I'm not going to bring them in. We're waiting for the fish to come to this feeding zone, and we're going to be rebaiting, trying different flavors throughout the night to see what we can catch out there. Alright, so we got our two rods baited. All we can do now is wait for some fish to show up. We have the two rods out there, but we are two licensed anglers. It's me and the wife, so the wife is going to manage one rod and I'm going to manage the other one. And here in the state of Nevada you're allowed to use two rods per licensed angler. So while we have these out there, I'm also going to be using another rod, a little Ned rig on there, to try and see if I can find any bass. We know that there are bass in these waters, but the water level has gone down quite a lot since the last time I was out here. These reeds used to be in the water, a great place for the fish to hide. No longer in the water, so the fish aren't going to be near the reeds. So I need to now explore around, trying to find some rocks and stuff to see whether I can find any of these fish while we're waiting for our baits to soak. We have our little alarms on there. They'll scream if something takes our baits, So for the time being, I can focus on some other fish. Alright guys, sadly I missed the take on this rod, but we finally have a fish on. Wife brought in the fish for us, so let's quickly land him. Tiny little carp, but we got one landed in the net. Let's quickly unhook him. Alright, so there we are, first little carp landed. This one was on banana corn, telling me that these fish are looking for something sweet, maybe preparing for Halloween. But as per the rules of this specific body of water, here at Upper Pahranagat, you are not allowed to release any carp, so this guy cannot go back to the water. But because we are still going to be fishing for a while out here, we are going to keep this fish. We're going to be keeping him in our kip net. Just going to put him in there, and I'm just going to put this in the water so the fish is still alive, but we are not releasing him back into the water. Alright, so after 2 hours we finally landed a fish, meaning our feeding zone is working. The idea now is going to be casting in the exact same spot, so we're going to rebait and cast in the same spot. Alright, so this is normally the part where we swap over to nighttime. That means putting on little glow sticks so we can see when something's happening. But unfortunately, I did not get some glow sticks for fishing, little small ones that I can put on my policeman. But I do have, however, some bigger glow sticks. These are the ones you get at Walmart, something like $1 in the party section. So we're going to use some party glow sticks tonight to see if we can find some fish. And wouldn't you know, out of a pack of 4, only one glow stick works, our little pink one. So I'm going to put it on one of the rods. The other rod, the alarm is a lot louder. Already seeing some movement on the bobber there. But we're going to put this one on the one rod with the softer alarm, so that one can scream if something takes it. There we go, fish on. This fish is swimming towards me. That's why it felt strange there for a moment. I think this one actually has the hook. It's swimming sideways, trying to get me wrapped around my own net. There we are, guys, second little fish. Gonna get this one into the net. We don't want to release them. About the same size as the previous one.
Longer.
A bit longer, but still very skinny. Clearly these fish don't have enough to eat, so let's get them into our keep net. Don't know if you guys can see, but we have him inside of our little net. Tomorrow when we have better lighting, I'll show you all the fish we caught. There we go, another fish. Only recognizing it's been hooked right now. So quickly want to tire them out some. Of course these aren't big fish and I'm using small. Of course these are small fish and I'm using a 15-pound test line, so more than able to handle them. And we got another fish in the net. There we go, another little carp, another one to put in our net. Let's get him. Slippery little guy, got a better grip on him now, so let's get him into the net.
Where's Upper Pahranagat?
Alright guys, this one was not taking the baits and running with it, but we could see the movement. So the wife set the hook, so let's see if we have a fish on. You can hear him out there. Just can't see him yet.
A little bit bigger, but maybe not. Oh, oh, there's an
Swimming straight towards the other net. Bit bigger carp. Bit bigger carp, definitely the biggest one for the night so far. Okay, so nice big one caught by the wife. Quickly going to put this one also into our keep net. Alright, so we caught quite a few small carp. We got them in the keep net. We'll have a look at them early in the morning when we have some light. It is now 9 p.m. We're not going to fish throughout the entire night, even though the fish are clearly in this area, but we'll get fishing again when there's some light around. Alright guys, we missed a couple of fish this morning, but already landed this one now. Thought I was recording, but I was not. Let's quickly get the hooks out of this one. Alright guys, so why is carp fishing so good at night? It's because of these little barbels they have. They're actually the same as the catfish. They can taste the food, so no matter how murky the water, they can actually still taste the food. That's why they keep feeding during the night. That's why it's a good thing to catch them at night as well. It's the major difference between carp and something like the American buffalo. Being a sucker fish, the buffalo does not have those little barbs, and it just helps them with finding food in the dark. Alright, but let's quickly get this guy into the net. Alright guys, this time around I can actually show you guys the fish while we're bringing him in. Putting up a good fight. These fish feel completely different on the little ugly stick, which is a lot more bendable. But of course an ugly stick can handle big fish. Just want to get him away from the other line. It's not quite ready to give up yet. And we have another fish on the second rod as well. This one was not even set up yet with an alarm and everything. But what a way to end this fishing trip by getting a double up. I think we're not going to be catching any more fish after this. This last carp is a pretty big one, and I think the one I'm still fighting as well. They won't be fitting into the keep net. There we go, another fish landed. Our final fish for this trip. Let's get the two fish side by side. Not the biggest carp, but some of the bigger fish we've caught, showing that we have to catch all the small ones to finally get to the bigger ones. Like I said, we're not putting these ones into the keep net. I think let's go get the keep net so we can dispatch of all these fish. Alright guys, so to show you how this keep net of mine works, we have a little flap at the top that can easily open. And all we're doing is we're putting the fish in there. Simple as that. Not a bad catch for one night. Just want to point out again that we tend to release carp, but here at Pahranagat, management has asked that we do not release carp. Any carp caught in these waters you need to remove. That's why we're not releasing any of these carp, but that is just for Lake Pahranagat. So please, if you want to release carp in some other lakes, feel free to do so. But just check the rules and regulations whether you're allowed to release any carp in those other bodies of water. Alright, so that's 18 pounds worth of fish. Of course, if we fished throughout the entire night, we could have caught more, but I feel that's more than enough for two anglers over a few hours. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we had a pretty fun time out there. This little feeding zone I created, it's working pretty good. We can still see lots of fish jumping around, swimming around. We know they are here in the area, so if we continue fishing, we'll catch some more fish. You can imagine when spending an entire weekend out here, how much fish you can catch with this method. I just wanted to show you that creating a feeding zone is a great way to get the fish to come to you. You don't have to go and find the fish, you can bring them to you. But please be aware, lots of the bodies of water out there, especially the local park ponds, do not permit chumming the waters. So please do ensure you check your local regulations before chumming the waters to try and catch fish. Now the great thing about this style of fishing is the things that you don't see, all the time spent sitting around, all the time you have on your hands. It's quite therapeutical. You can think about lots of things, you can play some games, you can have fun with your loved ones, and every once in a while a rod will go off and you go catch a fish. And of course I got to test out quite a lot of different baits. I tried a few different flavors out there. We caught one of the little carps on the banana flavored corn, and 6 different carps we caught on the almond flavored. They did not even want to touch my garlic corn. Alright, but I wanted to share this side of fishing with you guys as well. I want to thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give me a thumbs up. Feel free to ask any questions down below in the comments. And I think for now, I need to go take a shower and get some new fresh clothes. So on that note, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.